The CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, recently did an interview panel where he talked about the generational differences in how people use ChatGPT. And this goes for any form of new technology. It differs in how people in different generations use it and how quickly they can integrate it into their lives, just like a smartphone. But this is not too surprising to me. Basically, what he revealed is that Gen Z turns to ChatGPT either for academic dishonesty or maybe more worryingly, life advice, personal life advice and therapy, basically.
That's the most interesting part. Like,
Yeah.
so that you said that's Gen Z that's doing that?
Yes.
Like, I use it mostly for like aggregation of information.
He said that older generations generally use ChatGPT as an alternative to a random search engine like Google.
My search is like yesterday I was telling you, I was like, I wonder who the most financially successful serial killer was in America by their chosen profession. And I got a list of like the 25 most.
Who was the top?
I didn't even know the name. It wasn't even a name I'd ever heard of, but he owned a construction company. The rest of them were all very, very low income.
He was burying the bodies on the construction site.
It came up because there was actually a storyline in season 3 of the show The Following where they talk about why are all the serial killers low income and stupid. And they said, do you think that rich people are spared psychopathy? No, they're rich and they get away with it.
They're just smarter.
And I was like, have there been any like really, like, is there like a guru type Horatio Alger serial killer? I bet you there is.
And it's those weird questions that come up that usually people use for information.
Because I wanted to get like income levels and like, and it gives like perspective. Like I'd have to do like 30 different searches to do that. It's not like I'm using it for anything. So
here was this clip from his interview panel where he talks about this divide.
Up on that, what are the cool use cases that you're seeing young people using with ChatGPT that might surprise us?
They really do use it like an operating system. They have like complex ways to set it up to connect it to like a bunch of files, and they have like fairly complex prompts memorized in their head, or like, you know, in something where they paste in and out. And I mean, that stuff I think is all cool and impressive. And there's this other thing where like they don't really make life decisions without asking like ChatGPT what they should do. And it has like the full context on every person in their life and what they've talked about. And, you know, like the memory thing has been a real change there. But yeah, I think it gross oversimplification, but like older people use ChatGPT as a Google replacement. Maybe people in their 20s and 30s use it as like a life advisor or something. And then like people in college use it as an operating system.
So
how do you use it?
That basically confirms that Gen Z is turning to ChatGPT to fulfill the role of a therapist or maybe a pastor or an older family member or mentor.
I did ask the chat if they've ever, in the chat right now, if anybody's used a therapist. So far, 67% say no.
Well, that's surprisingly split.
Yeah.
It's
I'm curious as to what he means by using it as an operating system.
I think he's referring to the way that college students use it for their assignments, which he doesn't really say that they're using it to cheat, but we all know that that's what's happening.
Can you prompt ChatGPT, like, give me an unfalsifiable article that I can, like, give me something that my teacher can't prove was used via AI?
In February, OpenAI revealed that U.S. college students were the most engaged users, not just in number, but in how thoroughly they were integrating it into their daily routines. 1/3 of Americans aged 18 to 24 reported using ChatGPT, making them the most active age group on the platform. And New York Magazine recently reported on that phenomenon. Headline, "Everyone is cheating their way through college." And that's undeniably true. But I feel like it's more worrying for them to use it as a life advisor than just a tool to cheat on their tests.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it hallucinates.
Yeah. I mean,
What do you mean by that?
It gets answers wrong all the time.
Yeah, the hallucinations are when it gives you wrong answers.
Is that like the slang term for
I
it?
was-
Or?
I think that is the that's the term that I've heard people like in that actually work with AI and stuff to call it. Like I've heard like David Sachs, who's like Trump's AI czar, AI and crypto czar, he said
want
the
to be a czar.
phrase hallucinate.
Well, the idea and the selling point, I guess, is that you can provide ChatGPT with enough context about your life and all of your personal relationships, your family, your dating life, to the point where it can give you accurate assessments of your personal dilemmas and then present you with possible solutions to your problems. But I obviously think that you would get better advice from another human being who has life experience.
I wonder how many, and I don't know that this is a question that could be answered, but I personally feel like most of the time I kind of know what the right answer is, and then like I'll convince myself that the easier solution is the right answer, or that's how I felt like a lot of times in my life. It's like
Occam's razoring it.
yeah, like, you know, look, this is the hard thing is the right thing to do. General, not always, but like I feel like it's fairly easy to figure out what the best solution for most situations are, and then I think that people that don't do that that solution are doing it because it tends to be the most difficult one.
I just feel like this could easily devolve into the same pitfalls as normal talk therapy. Like, generally, people are going to their therapist for confirmation bias that they're right and everyone else is wrong. And the therapist is going to tell you to do what's best for you and prioritize your needs and care for yourself. They're going to prioritize self-care.
What was the
and
story we were
tell
just
you,
talking about
well,
the other
that
day?
toxic person in your life, you should cut them out of your life, instead of going deeper into the conflict that you have with that person.
Wasn't there somebody in the chat the other day who said their therapist said, or their wife's therapist said to like break up with him or something? Am I misremembering that? Or was
Well,
it like
this
a
is a
long-term-
similar story.
Yeah.
Woman divorces husband after ChatGPT analyzed her coffee and saw signs of infidelity.
Analyze
Says
your coffee.
ChatGPT read her husband's coffee and suggested that he was having an affair. A marriage of 12 years is coming to an end after a couple decided it would be fun to have ChatGPT read their coffees and interpret the coffee grounds in the cups. This is just witchcraft, by the way.
Yeah. It's like going to
reading the tea leaves.
It's like going to see a psychic and then breaking up with your husband because the psychic said something.
This is a real thing that
Yeah.
actual psychics and self-proclaimed witches do, though. Analyzing tea leaves or analyzing the shapes of bubbles in tea or coffee to give you answers to all of life's problems.
I feel like if you're going to file your divorce papers and you're embarrassed to cite the reason on the form as to why you're getting divorced, you shouldn't be allowed
It said,
to.
instead of getting a fun quip from the AI, the man's coffee cup claimed he had been fantasizing about a woman with the initial E and was destined to begin a relationship with her. Meanwhile, ChatGPT analyzed her coffee cup and claimed her husband was already cheating with this mystery woman, and that this woman wanted to destroy their home. So originally the husband laughed off the analysis, but his wife was heartbroken, took it seriously, and decided to end her marriage over it. Wow. So it's not just Gen Z who is looking to ChatGPT for life advice. A lot of people are doing this because we have such an absence of actual spiritual guidance and mentorship and leadership.
Yeah.
And real human relationships, which I believe will always be superior, even if they don't take precedent in the future.
It's just very strange. People just, they're looking for answers and they'll look for whatever they can find, even if it's not God or a psychic, they'll find it in technology. And that's scary.
But on the front of academic ethics, it turns out that Gen Z is mostly using AI to cheat on their assignments. It says in this piece from the Chronicle of Higher Education, an NYU professor said he had AI-proofed his assignments, only to have students complain that the work was too hard. When he told them that those were standard assignments, just worded so that AI would fail to answer them, they said he was interfering with their learning styles. A student asked for an extension on the grounds that ChatGPT was down the day assignment was due. And another said about the work on a problem set, You're asking me to go from point A to point B. Why wouldn't I use a car to get there? And another, when asked about their largely AI written work, replied, everyone is doing it.
So it's like drugs and
Do you guys think that
just say no?
You know how like there's the old meme of like, oh, you know, you're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket.
that was the first thing I thought of.
That like is that
Now you do.
Is that what is it going to be? Oh, you
Yeah.
can't use AI for everything, and it's like, well, you know, when you get the Neuralink chip, yeah, you can use AI.
I mean,
for
I'm
everything.
picturing a surgeon like over your body, looking at a diagram written on ChatGPT on what
I mean,
to
it's
do.
already bad enough when you go to the doctor's office and you tell them what's going on, and they just Google something. They're
Yeah.
like, "What seems like it might be this."
They did that in like the
Drink water.
I think it was the second X-Files movie where like somebody has a brain tumor and Scully like Googles brain
But-
tumor.
But I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware, but they use AI when it comes to diagnosis and looking at like, I think it's MRIs or whatever, and they're incredibly accurate. Like they're accurate far more than human beings are. Like they can identify cancers and breast cancer and stuff. So
I would
that kind of
trust
just
it
leads me back to my
more
question.
in that context than I would trust it to tell me like, here's how you should handle your family conflict.
I
Like,
think I would agree, but that's the question that I'm asking.
That's also different
is,
than learning the skills while you're in school. Like the whole point in school is that you know how to do it on your own, and then you can use the.
But the context that we're talking about is, you know, in the context of, oh, you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time.
Yeah.
And now everyone does.
Until ChatGPT is down and you need an answer to something. Until you don't have the internet somewhere and you don't have the answer. I'm just saying, like the whole point is in school is to kind of create those skills so that in the event that something happens where you don't have it, you're able to
That's
do
the
it.
same argument that's made about that's the same argument that was made about calculators. It was, you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time.
I mean, that still does happen. Like there's still plenty of times where you have to do math and you just don't even know what to type into the calculator because the formula is too
I
complex
still think
and you don't know what it is.
it's valuable for children to learn arithmetic just because it improves your ability to reason.
This is still kind of missing the point of my question, though. My point of my question is, considering that the argument for not to actually learn the process in mathematics was, well, you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time. Nowadays, you can punch whatever you want into AI, and it's getting to the point where you can not only just type it in, but like you were saying, oh, you don't know what to ask it. You can actually just say, hey, how do I want to do this? How do I do this? And that's like it can do that for you right now. You can talk to AI in a fairly conversational way and it'll understand and provide the answers. Is that going to be is that going to be why, or is that going to mean, does that mean that people are generally going to lose the ability to do things and just always rely on the internet? And furthermore,
I do think it will.
yeah,
Before we fully address that, we have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. I produce twice as much work in half the time with GPT because of the speed of doing research. Since I charge by the hour, it kind of sucks, but I'm close to 100% retirement, so I don't give a shit. More fun time is worth it.
I like the idea that he just doesn't use ChatGPT because he wants to make more money.
I mean,
yeah.
good on you for being honest. But yeah, I do think this is going to intellectually handicap an entire generation.
Yeah.
not only that, but what happens, like, again, if you talk about like catastrophes, if there is like some kind of solar flare that just knocks out all of the infrastructure on the planet, which is completely realistic, it's totally possible.
It's why they don't even have enough fun with like post-apocalyptic shows these days. It's like there's so many like ground level things that would be difficult in a world without the internet that would be so much more fun than what they end up usually addressing in shows. Where it's like, you know, it's like we talked about in IRL, when like you need a dude who knows how to mix chemicals. You need somebody who knows how to build things, how to farm. Like that is far more interesting. And then you're like, oh crap, I can't look it up on my phone.
Yeah, framing a house is more than just putting sticks up.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know if this is just a sign that I'm sunsetting and I don't
You're
relate
definitely not sunsetting
with the
at
young people these
20
days,
something.
but like I don't use ChatGPT and never have, and I don't predict that I will. Thank you. it actually
You have
just
a-
seems
you're a-
I
tedious.
absolutely will.
You have a better attention span. You don't need it.
When it's reliable in a conversational way, then I will. When you can be like, because like I'll still ask my phone to, hey, I'm not gonna say it too, so I'm not trying to set people's things off. But like when you can reliably say, hey, Alexa or whatever, and be like, I need to do this, 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 and this, and it can just automatically do it and it reliably produces quality answers. I'm sure that I will. Because I used to use it when I had my other apartment before. Sarah doesn't like that stuff, so we don't have it at the new place. But in my other apartment, I used to have that, and I would ask Alexa all kinds of things all the time. I would use that for whether it was time, temperature. Hey, set an alarm for this. Set the timer for this. Blah blah. Blah. Especially when I was cooking, because you're making food and you want to get the time right. It's set a timer for this. Blah blah blah. So the more it becomes functional in a conversational way, the more likely I am to use it.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.